showing you these demonstrations. And across these set of apps, we will be taking you through how we're doing it. So I hope everyone's all set and we're ready to go. I am super excited. Can I get some thumbs ups and some little bit of, some from the audience? If we can begin to know that you all are all zoned in and ready to go. Great, great. Thank you so much for your interaction. Thank you, guys. So, coming to again, what's with the AI opportunity today and what is it that we're doing? So, I'm going to hit you up with some examples because my entire thought process of why we built this product came from experiences that we all encounter in my life. So, as you can see, at Ravelcom, we're a team of AI experts from Huda, myself, there's a whole bunch of our team, wherein it's a young team that gets exposed to technology and we're very tech savvy in terms of how we're going about building it. And the entire notion started was when we started questioning each other about what we are all doing. And we spent a lot of time doing that in our organization in terms of how we can work, how we can improve, not just for ourselves, but also for our clients. So let me take you through an imaginary scenario today. So I'm sure most of us today in India have used tools like Zepto, Blinkit, and are also accustomed to have become, quick commerce in our life. And the reason why customer expectation really changes today is because of new age models like this. Now, today, and how the world has changed so much in terms of how long you can actually do it. Let me give you an example. If I have to order a product, I need to get something. Today, groceries get delivered in a house in 10 minutes. If you have to book a cab in less than 3 minutes, there's actually somebody at your door. Now, the problem is these are problems which actually have led to more efficient processes being created. Now, the main notion behind why we started building this was we realized websites were very one-sided and interactive from the point of view of just letting people know and have to find information. So tomorrow, if I'm a customer who actually wants to know about your business, we realize the actual touch point today is all on the digital world. And that digital world which you see, right, is the most common way for people in their digital profiles. Like if I'm looking for an answer from a question, why is it that I fill a form on your website and I have to wait 24 hours for a response for even basic queries or solving out a problem? Now, when you understand, you analyze that, you realize there's actually a big gap in today's market with regards to what AI is actually capable of doing and how it can be built out in a more successful implementation through this. So the most common way, as I said today, digital is your footprint and your front door. Traditionally in retail, you would have people who would actually be trying to first create a shop and trying to bring people to that shop. So the idea would be that, in basic sense of how people look at dhanda, right? आप दुकान बनाते हो and then you want to figure out how do you actually get people to that dukaan. Today, that uh, digital front door is the first touch point that people actually come through because advertising has evolved. And today we actually have seen in the last decade or so, people are spending more on digital advertising as compared to offline advertising, which means those run ads, those kind of things are probably running on platforms like Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and website. And typically, what exactly happens is during this time when you're running these kind of different kind of ads, different kind of advertising campaigns, you traditionally have ways in which you can track and measure. But there's a whole spillover which happens through engagement because you're typically just paying for eyeballs, and those eyeballs can then have different ways in which you can actually have it interacted and designed for everyone as well. So that being said, it's why I think today it's very important for us to understand that today, for most businesses, the first interaction with any kind of customer, any user, agar they want to actually talk to you and your business, we need to understand it's as simple as sending a hi on Instagram or a hi on Facebook or even a hi on WhatsApp to your business. And that's literally where a journey can start. So, for instance, like our basic thing is how do you measure ROI in terms of traditional marketing and digital marketing also changing up is where we're seeing this entire thing. So, why the cost of unanswered questions is where we see the opportunity for creating the rebel agent. So people already know that obviously AI can be used in a lot of ways in your business today, from using it on for being creatives, for writing emails, for doing various things, etc. But what we feel the most basic way to create an AI is in the form of actually having somebody that's there to answer your customers 24/7. And when I mean that, it's the job that literally every business has. If you have hundreds and thousands of employees, what's the point of having so many employees when you can actually not be there to answer somebody who's literally coming to your digital front door? And that's sort of on the basis of which we started to build out this product and saw this amazing thing that basically every message that goes unanswered, right, is a customer who basically just walked away and said, hey, let me just go over to the competitor because you lost out when the customer is there. And typically we see these interactions also in our day in and day out lives. I mean, later I'll be taking you through some of these examples, which maybe we've actually done ourselves or have experienced in our own life at some point, which has happened to it. But yeah, that was basically on the basis of where we said that it should be measured. It should be going answered. And that is where it should be creating better experience for your customers. So the question today is not really where should AI serve in, what problem should it solve. The biggest challenge is to identify that the purpose of what this AI tool is there for. And again, what this does is it really helps us in understanding the transition into this new AI-based era for marketing, as well as interactions for customers. So the way we envision this product, right, is tomorrow, this is going to be the future of how people actually interact with your business. There are tons of things that you can do to market. Like as I was giving an example in real estate, people put up hoardings, they put up full page ads on newspapers and put a 10-digit phone number. But what's the point of putting up a phone number when you put an ad on Sunday and nobody's there to answer those calls? And today the thing is, people are not just wanting to do business by picking up a phone, calling a business. So that's sort of why I think we have kind of identified this really important pain point in businesses, which most people aren't even aware that this can be solved using AI firstly and done onto it. So that's sort of where Rebel Agent sort of comes in. So it's basically the front door to your business and the touch point from where any interaction that comes place gets engaged and automatically converted. So anybody who tries to reach you, back in the day, I remember most businesses would have something called a landline number. And the reason why I really find it very fascinating is because a landline number could be used to identify and reach the office of a company. So I want to talk to any department, I want to talk to any other person. I would typically just call up that landline number, find a receptionist that would connect me to anyone in the organization. What's funny is with the advent of so much AI and technology coming in, somehow it's become harder to actually interact and get things done more efficiently. And that's sort of why Rebel Agent comes in. As we said, it's the front door to your business. And what exactly is a Rebel Agent? So Rebel Agents are basically AI agents that get trained on your business, from training on all different kind of materials like sales informations, documents, websites, every kind of information that you can find about your business online. Through the help of our own proprietary system for training it up, we help you in designing the base prompt, which is basically helping you design the personality, tonality. So think of it as having an expert that knows everything about your business, then gets trained on actually how to interact with customers, understands your brand language, tonality, understands how your customers need to be spoken to, how every individual needs to be interacted with, to handle any kind of interaction, whether that be inquiry, an FAQ, a booking, maybe order status, a job inquiry, that too 24/7 in every language possible across the front door to your business. So the question is, in terms of how we build these AI agents out, right? The Rebel Agent is basically a very simple to use tool that, as I mentioned, in order to build it out, it's quite straightforward in terms of how do we do it. So we train it on, as I said, the various different documents, information that's available of your business, catalogs, different kind of policies. A big source obviously becomes your websites, because people don't realize that today, as long as your website remains in public domain, it's information that you're giving out to the world to access, but sometimes it's just very hard to find it. Like I see this problem with a lot of businesses that we work with today, having web pages crossing the mark of almost 1,000 to 10,000 web pages on your website. So even finding things on a website is actually equally hard. And the best part is, so once these things get trained on, the second thing is they're deployed onto your digital touchpoint. So connecting it to your Instagram profile for receiving and answering DMs, connecting to your WhatsApp business number so that you have a WhatsApp agent which can be answering it. You can also style it, put it onto your website in the form of a chatbot. But again, because this has the contextual awareness, it's not a chatbot that's really answering. It's like, think of it having a chat GPT for your company that's there to answer it and it knows how to interact. The best part is these go live almost instantly with the help of some of the templates that we've built out, which have been designed for certain use cases and everything. And the best part is this is fully manageable through our Rebel Agent backend, from where you can actually build out and deploy these. So coming to our next act, I would love to show you how actually Rebel Agents are built, and maybe through that, getting into some of these examples of some of the agents that we've built so far. So I'm just going to be switching over to actually taking you through where you can find this information about the Rebel Cop and the Rebel Agent platform online. So if I go into our website, for those of you who are not aware, you can go into rebelcop.ai, where you can find our complete MarTech platform, which is available. And from here, you can access not just the Rebel Agent platform, but also our other tools and products and services like the Rebel Cop website builder, Rebel Enable, the Rebel Crowd Pulse, and a lot of other solutions and services that we have, which we'll be taking through in different segment when we have the time for it. So with Rebel Agent, as you can see, it is AI based, again, chat agent that's been trained to answer any kind of questions on your business. So it can, as I mentioned, that this is available from answering those questions and available in three main flavors, which is known as customer support, lead gen, and API integrations. So I'll get into the detail after I explain it to you. But basically, if I have to show you in a Rebel Agent in action, right, the best place I can do it is by actually showing it to you. How do we use it at Rebel Corp? So the pain point that we saw, right, as I said, to every business, the common problem is that today we all have to be present on social media, whether we like it or not. Whether you're manufacturing or B2B, you need to be online and you need to be alive for people to find you. If people need to find you, you need to have a website, you need to have a social channel, you have all of these things present. But the problem is these channels are very one-sided. Like, for instance, Instagram doesn't allow you actually to put in posts, captions. They don't allow you to actually insert links. So for most of the ad creatives, everything that you're doing, and the most typical thing is what we are trying to say is that today, if anyone's actually interested, there's a way where they can get in touch with your business. And that's in the form of the messages. And I know for most of us who are from all the Gen Zs out there, they think sliding into DMs is something that can only be done for fun. But the way we see it is sliding into DMs can also be done to just sometimes engage with and to get your work done faster, right? If you have a problem tomorrow and something's not working, right, you can pretty much, what would you try to do is you would try to go escalate it, whether it's a business, it's an individual, you will go and try to talk to them. And we realize today, platforms like Instagram, WhatsApp, you don't have to teach people how to use these. They already know. So if I give you an example today, like our basic pain point was that any person who wants to know more about, let's say, our products, like I would like to know more about the Rebel Agent. Now, for this is a very common problem that I would say is not just relevant to our sector, but I'm sure everyone here who does marketing or does any kind of things, you can understand that you will have these kind of interactions. Now, as you can see, the basic thing that happens here is that my team is actually sitting, or everyone's on this meet. Nobody is out of it, but you can see that we're still going to get a response. And the reason for that is because we have our Rebel Agent actually present and trained on all of our platforms and sitting there to answer these kind of questions. So as you can see, the Rebel Agent has responded to me and has given me the input also for the item. So that's sort of where we can see the interactions. Yeah, sorry about that. My DND is sort of on. So this is basically from where you can see out the interaction. So this is where I saw that there is a pain point to answer out, do all these kind of questions, and sort of send it in. So having the agent train, answer out, set up those kind of platforms and these things is where it comes in super handy. So from here, it'll actually work to answer out these questions, set it up also. And I'm going to show you how exactly do we build these Rebel agents out and then give you a few examples. So through our website, actually on the Rebel Agent platform, right, you can go out, interact with it, ask any kind of questions on the chat window, on the different kind of platforms, and it'll be able to interact and do this as well. So basically from here, then we are able to actually go into the Rebel Agent backend, where I'll show you how we actually set up and we do the deployment on the agents. So in order to explain to you the technical side of it, which I'll try not to because we try to make it as easy. So the best part is this is an entirely no-code based system, right? It is entirely designed to work on text and prompts. So here at the Rebel Agent platform, what we have done is we've set up the entire thing from the chat agent, from where you can actually easily put in the name of the agent. You have a display name, and we've done the heavy lifting for you. So since we partnered with platforms like OpenAI, Claude, and Grok, you can see that most of these tools are actually integrated onto it. So you don't have to worry about bringing and training up the module. We take care of that integration for you. When we set up the agent, it's very simple what you really have to do. There's two main parts when you have to train an agent that has to go live. One which we call as a base prompt. So in a base prompt, it sounds very technical, but as the name reads, it's about training your agent's personality, like explaining it what the job has to be done, what does it have to do, giving it a set of instructions that can actually follow through, which can be then customized or modified. So, for instance, a base prompt can consist of something like, "Hey, your name is so and so. Your job is to answer certain questions about the company. You are a representative to the brand." X, and you will be able to do these kind of things. Your job, your function is to help people find questions, to answer out these things, maybe even qualify them and get their leads and data and inquiry from there. So it's about the same way we train up, I would say, an individual who works in sales or works in any kind of customer facing interaction. And to make this easier, also, what we've done is we have a whole bunch of templates in our marketplace of ready to use agents where all you have to do is change the name of the business and you'll be able to do it. Plus, the good part of building out these kind of base prompts today, I'm going to give you a little hack here, is that if you want a really solid one to be designed for your business where you're not sure about how to give it instructions, you can actually use AI to do that as well, because it'll be able to give you something what we call as a safe AI through our platforms that will be able to interact and give you those kind of interactions from there as well. So basis that, you can actually see how it sort of works in and then be able to train it on these different set of instructions. So that's part one of actually setting up the agent. The second thing is we give it a fixed set of knowledge base. And with the help of that, what that means basically is instead of giving it like a text, this is not going to be like a chat GPT wherein it's connected to the internet and it'll get information from wherever it wants. We basically give it a fixed context window. So for instance, from here, once the agent is actually set up, the other thing that we have to do after we create the chat agent, it is to actually train it on the different kind of knowledge base. So unlike ChatGPT, as I mentioned, this thing is not going to be trained up on again, putting up information, pulling on the internet. It's fixed context window. You have to train on the information. Now that can be in the form of text. It can be in the form of files, let's say your company brochures, catalogs, those kind of things. Many companies that we come across today already have this information ready to train it on. The other thing is if you have a fixed set of Q&As, like the question and answer that you already know people are frequently asking, you can actually just add those fixed set of question and answers, train it on that so it knows how to interact with those things. And lastly, what you can also do is train it on the website. So the websites, we realize, are a great source of information because as long as something's on your website, it has all the information from it. And the thing is, you can just use the AI agent to scrape all of the different URLs, keep feeding in all those things. And additionally, what we've also introduced is actually an auto scrape functionality, wherein every 24 hours, as long as you update your website, the agent will be smart enough to go and retrain itself as well. So you don't have to think about, okay, how is it going to keep learning and becoming smarter about my business? It'll actually be able to do that with the help of our system through the auto scraping and the knowledge base. So once that is kind of set up, actually your base prompt and the knowledge base, you basically have an agent that's ready to go. Now the question is, then comes the next stage to integrate and add it to all of your digital touch points. So as I mentioned, we are allowed to actually put this up and we provide you an entire chat interface in the form of a chatbot. Which can be added to your website. So you get a code which can be added to your website, and you will get something called as a chat box appearance, wherein you can style it out. You can see how that agent is supposed to look on your website when it gets added in the form of this. You can change it up, style it up, design how do you want it to look, and change the photos, styling, assets of how this is going to look on your website. As well as we have a design module from where you can actually customize and make it look exactly the way you want. So that's the one that connects to your website. Then we have something wherein, because we've taken care of the integrations on your end, all you have to do is to connect it onto your different touch points like your WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram. It's typically done just by actually going into the connections, because we've done the heavy lifting of the integration, where all you have to do is just sign in, authorize like the same way you log into your Instagram account, and activate it from here. So that's sort of how the agent is kind of put in, and it's actually set up in a matter of minutes and then connected to your digital touch points. So once that is actually done, what happens next is very simply, you have a complete backend from where you can track out every conversation. So any kind of interactions that are taking place, any kind of all messages, whether it's on your website chat, you have a unified window from where you can see all of these conversations. And typically what happens is all of these conversations, it's quite fascinating because from here itself, you get to manage all of these different things. So typically, if you were a business owner or operator, you would be working with different marketing agencies that will give you ORM, these kind of services. And you realize something that those guys don't know as much about your business as you do. And the fact is, if you have somebody who's been trained on your business to interact, it can do a lot more. The best part is once these AI agents are sort of set up, right? What we actually take care of is not only providing it the access from where it can manage and do all of these items, but also the fact that we created something called the human handoff capabilities. So ideally, with our system, we're not trying to replace humans on a whole, we're trying to optimize them. And what we've done really smartly is actually created these systems which allow you to do human handoff. So basically, if you're sleeping, it's 11 in the night or it's 4 a.m. and you have customers maybe 24/7 asking questions, you're doing something like that, wanting to know things, it will answer those. And typically with all the frequently asked questions of what most customers are asking for, if AI can, what our goal is that if it can handle 80 to 90% of those questions and then escalate the ones it can't solve out to humans, that's how we design human handoffs. And the way it's done in two ways. One is either by a keyword based mechanism, wherein if somebody says, hey, I would like to speak to a manager or I would need further help, you can create those kind of keywords which will create an escalations in human handoffs. At the same time, there's an auto detect wherein the AI smartly understands the conversation, understands the tonality of the conversation, wherein if somebody is upset or somebody is not happy, right, it will automatically create a human handoff escalation to you and your team so that you know there was somebody who actually needs your help. So that's kind of how it's set up. So the good part is once human handoffs are triggered, from the same dashboard, actually it allows you to take conversations, message them, talk to them like how you do on a normal platform. And the good part is once you collect the people's Instagram, Facebook, or WhatsApp numbers, you actually have the data to re-engage with them and talk to them from here itself. So yeah, that's sort of how basically the AI agents are built in and trained. So these are the basics of the agent. Before I go any further, I'm going to show you a few more examples of these agents and how they're already being applied in the world. So as I mentioned, the advantage we have as being AI experts as compared to some of the people who are doing things very theoretically, being a B2B software company, we have the advantage to take these products from ideas into the real world. And today I'm going to show you an example of the most basic Rebel agent that we have, which is called a customer support agent. And today, one of the places where one of these agents is set up and it's running, right, is at Prozone Mall. So this is a very cool and fascinating agent that I'm going to show you and how the company is using it. So typically, it's a shopping mall. And today, what we've realized is in shopping malls, again, it's the same problem. It's a retail space, but a lot of advertising is moved over to digital. And once that moves over to digital, what tends to happen is that there's a lot more interactions. And what today we've realized is in a shopping mall, the entire notion of having digital presence is actually very important because a lot of marketing, the experiences, you have influencers who are coming in, making collabs, reposts and everything. And what does that lead to is actually more people who are curious to come and visit the mall. And the objective was very simple. When we designed this out, the idea was to provide a support mechanism that is not just limited to the support desks that are sitting in the mall. Because today we realize a lot more people can actually visit the mall's Instagram page than the actual physical mall itself. And in order to be able to drive more people to the footfall into the mall, right, we had to come up with a more innovative way from where we can actually do it. And one of those things was we saw the pain point in two areas. One was that today more interactions happen on digital than ever before. And the second thing, which I'm going to show you a cool example of what they've built out, is with an in-mall support agent. So again, the same thing here is typically if you go to any mall today, before I go to the mall, what I would obviously like to know what is happening in the mall. So if I ask something like, are there any events in the mall? So when I ask these kind of questions, obviously I'm interested to know more about what's happening, what is going on. And you can see I've intentionally left a typo in there because humans are not perfect. We tend to make mistakes, and it's good because the AIs are smart enough to understand those mistakes. So you can see here also what happens is the AI agent kind of takes over. It gives me a complete answer what is actually happening, what are the different kind of activities, and it's available 24/7 in every language. So this provides you and has been created into a mall agent that's sitting in. And today what's remarkable is about how they're using it, not just on digital. Today we've been able to see interactions on this mall, which gets about 20,000 footfall on a daily basis, to create WhatsApp agents which are present in the form of QRs in the mall as an AI-based mall assistant service. And what's interesting is in the last 2 months alone, we've seen almost 25,000 monthly interactions taking place on WhatsApp, where people are just going on WhatsApp, and just by having a mall support AI assistant, there are people who are asking questions like, where is the nearest washroom? So they've placed these QR codes strategically in all the entry points, exit points, near the washrooms, different areas inside the mall, where there's a WhatsApp number available from where everyone who's having a problem, right? If you need anything, there's 24/7 AI support available for anyone. So if you lost your keys, you need help. If you want to find out what's the latest offers, or if you want to find out where a store is located or which movies are running in the mall, we have an AI agent that is present to actually take care of all of those interactions on WhatsApp, as well as even on the entire thing from here itself. So yeah, that's typically how it sort of works and it does it. I'm going to give you another example of these. So these were examples of our main customer support agents, wherein the AI agents, like I showed you, are doing one base of business wherein they're talking, they're answering questions 24/7, helping people do it. And there are two very interesting applications that have been created. The other one that I'm going to show you is an example of how the Rebel agents go a step ahead from just being able to answer our questions. So typically, as I said, we have tiers of the Rebel agent which are available about that. Yeah. Uh, so one very basic, simple example wherein obviously what the agents are able to do is provide more proactive customer support. So besides doing that, right, that was one example of where it is. I'm going to tell you another level of how it can go from just giving question answers to actually turning into something that can make your business actually earn and get a tangible ROI. And that's in the form of what we call as the lead generation agents. So lead generation agents, basically what they do is typically, suppose I'll give an example of this, of how it works with regards to another client where we build this out and it's currently being deployed. And that's a university by the name of Tata IIS. And this is a Tata-based entity that we've built and we've done this deployment over at. And it's been running quite successfully. So typically, let me address on how we build this out and what is the pain point. So a big problem for Tata IIS during admission seasons, right? You see a very high number of students because obviously the marketing is happening at a lot more volumes. You have people who are actually coming in and more interested in learning more about these courses to do it. And the thing is, especially with courses, it's a very highly involved purchase, right? You're talking about the next 3 years of your life. So when that starts to happen, there is obviously a lot of people who have a lot of questions about whether what are the things on the courses, what are the potential job opportunities. And a big problem that they face is not only a lot of engaged people who want to know more, but these are high intent people, because the idea is, why would somebody ask a question saying, what are the placement offers that you have? What are the kind of companies that come for placements? Now, those kind of questions, it's obviously available on the website. You can tell people, hey, just go check out our website and do it. But that is not good enough, because somebody who's come to you to your doorstep and is asking these questions actually a very high intent lead. And our job is, with the help of Tata IIS agent and what we've been able to deliver to them, right, is that today, if you get a message like the one I'm saying, which courses offer highest placements? So this itself is like a very high intent query, which is obviously coming in. And the idea for us is, again, anybody who's asking these kind of questions to them or answering these kind of things, right? You can see our Rebel agent steps in, the Tata IIS agent, which has been trained on all their courses and also all the information. It has given you a complete breakdown on what's visible with regards to this. So while there are question and answers, it has given you something that can interact, engage, and do these things for it. As well as, what's interesting is, because this goes a level from answering questions, the big problem that we look to solve here was actually after people who get interested, right? What we've been able to do very successfully through the AI agent is implement lead generation, wherein after answering these questions, it's also been trained to actually take in inquiries saying, I want to know more about CNC course. So this basically would be somebody who's actually very interested. And what the agent can do is actually collect their name, email, phone number, all of the data that you require to actually engage with them. So traditionally, what people do for any kind of sectors and industry, right? You can see that's been training. It's been asking you for your name, your different kind of details, where it can actually capture this information from here itself and answer those out directly from our Rebel Agent platform. So that's sort of how lead generation works. And this is a very, very important tool because in the first 2 months of deployment, we saw that the DMs were actually generating very, low volumes in terms of actual customer admissions. But in 2 months, the impact that we've been able to have is almost we have been able to have an agent being present when the ad campaigns are happening and seen almost 120 admissions which have been able to be converted, which are in the form of leads, wherein the AI agent has answered these questions about their course inquiries, about placement details, about financing options, and then actually qualified them and handed it over to the sales team saying, this is the person, this is his name, this is his email, this phone number, this is the time they would like to be reaching out to. So it's taking that entire process of pre-sales, which is obviously one such example in where it's being used quite a bit from here also. So coming back to how we have it on our presentation also, we have these different modules which are obviously there with which the AI agents are working in, and they're doing these kind of options, right? So you have the customer support modules. We have the lead generation modules that we've shown you from here. And the idea is that, again, the good part is these such examples are not just limited to colleges and education. We've been working with clients in the sense of real estate, where lead generation is really high. So if you're tomorrow even like a builder, you work with any kind of real estate company, you'll understand that having thousands of messages versus having 10 sales qualified leads who are telling you, this is the flat I'm interested in, this is the time I want you to call me, and this is my budget. It saves a lot of the process for pre-sales qualification that's actually required. The best part is the Rebel Agent can also be synced up to a Google Calendar. So that becomes a great way to actually set up appointments and meeting. In fact, today at RebelCorp, when we do our ad campaigns, right, we as a SaaS company literally run campaigns where people can come ask us questions about our products, engage with it, and actually set up a meeting through our AI agent. You do not need to go to our website. You don't need to fill a form. We need to hear back. You can actually do that a lot faster. And when you think about the amount of businesses this same pain point might be replicable on, you can think of maybe people are running services. If you're a consultant, this could be useful for you to have somebody just directly setting up appointments with you via WhatsApp. If you are a wedding planner and you're showcasing running ad campaigns, you can actually turn your DMs into something like a consultation call or a booking with you. There are so many different aspects in which this lead generation modules can be used, which again, going into some of the application into the future, I will take you through some sectors and industries where we've been doing some very cool things into doing it. And the next one, which I'm quite excited to tell you about, is one of the modules that we have for e-commerce. And e-commerce is one which is obviously rather interesting because of this entire D2C wave that's sort of coming in. So I'm going to show you a few examples of these ones which are already live and running. Along with that, maybe a few which are right now under works with pilots, and showing you some more ideas of what's possible. So the e-commerce agents, again, the good part is how they can be used today. The best things I'm going to do is actually give you an example of it, about how people are using it in terms of an actual use case. So one such client and example that I would really love to show you is a lingerie brand known as Yobo. And this one is rather interesting, where we have our AI agent present in the form of Nina on their website, Instagram, any kind of interaction point basically which comes in to the customers itself. So where this one is actually really, really fascinating, right, is because in lingerie, it is a very, very, very fascinating industry because it doesn't do returns. And because of not being able to do returns, sizing is a really big problem. And why we're quite excited about it, this was because we created one of the world's first AI agents, which was actually trained on the sizing as an expert. So a big thing is that it's able to actually guide you towards helping you through a sizing guide, wherein it can help you in understanding different kind of measurements, different kind of things, wherein it can obviously recommend products a lot better. It's able to tell you the right size for you by taking your measurements and guiding you towards it. So that's sort of how it can sort of work in and actually do those items really from here. So this is quite an interesting application, which can, in e-commerce, it can go from, as I said, recommending products, helping you find nearest products faster. It's like tomorrow, if somebody messages me and says, hi, do you have something which is red in color? Like if you get a message like that, you can actually just send them the link to the red product faster. So you can actually get these items from there itself and be able to do that right from here, from where it's there. So that's kind of how it's interesting to bring out these kind of applications. But one which I have to tell you sets this apart from just doing product recommendation, question answering, and those kind of things is, as I said, with the e-commerce integrations, all of these tools, we also have the capability to integrate this to a Shopify store. So many of you who build probably online websites or selling online today, what's really fascinating is that if you build this on a platform like Shopify or WordPress or these kind of things, and you already have an existing store running, the AI agent, what's fascinating is that we are able to integrate this with your actual Shopify backend. And why that helps is there's another client of ours that we're building this out for where they get 1,000 DMs a day, and 90% of those DMs, right, are actually people asking, "Hey, where's my order?" Now, a question like that typically is somebody who's obviously an existing customer who wants to know more about their current order. And typically, that coming to the customer support and going unanswered is an actual bad rep for the company. And what that tends to do is that if you're able to actually answer these questions where the AI agent goes beyond just answering and recommending products, is the fact that it can actually integrate with the backend. So with the Shopify integration, what that typically allows you is let you know about live product inventory, like how much is this in stock, not in stock. So just by sending a DM, you can know whether this product is in stock, not in stock. You can find out what the latest offers that are happening. And a big one is, as I said, when people ask, where is my order? Typically, the process today is that the company or the person who has to answer those questions has to ask the person, well, sir, what was your, or madam, what was your order ID or order number? And then collect that information, forward it up to a tech team, which is sitting at the back, has to check the order status, and then give the update to the marketing team and do it. So you can see the amount of time and process that this is created by itself. So a customer wants to actually ask a question which is available within your own system because it's unable to talk to it, right? It takes so long to do the same thing, which is why we feel like right now you can actually set it up in such a way wherein it can do this and by actually integrating directly to the Shopify backend. So live order tracking, returns, those kind of things can be natively fetched that to real time. You do not need a group of people to set and do those integrations. So that's sort of where, even with e-commerce, it goes to a whole different level from just simply answering our questions. But you can also ask, hey, where's my order? And it'll be able to do that on Instagram, WhatsApp, and Facebook, which is quite an amazing way for larger scale brands to handle volumes at scale. So yeah, I'm going to come back to my presentation here for a bit to give you an idea on some more kind of items which are there to do with our, again, AI agents, and also share with you some of these sectors and how they're being built out and worked in. So some more sectors, as I mentioned, that today these kind of technologies, real estate is obviously a very big one. So if you're a builder, if you're getting thousands of leads to instead of having thousands of DMs, if you have even 10 people who are really interested, it's a very big sector. Hospitality, we have tons of restaurants and hospitality chains that are already using this in terms of helping you provide more customer interaction engagement. You can think about it today. We're doing some of the pilots of some of the leading restaurant chains in India and even around the world, actually, to deploy these kind of solutions, wherein the job is simple. Literally, if somebody is messaging you, asking you, hey, do you have gluten-free items on your menu? Now, you probably do have the answer to that, but if somebody messaging you before they visit is because they really want to come there, or what time's your restaurant open till today? What time do you guys usually have seatings? From where can I reserve? Or how do I reach the restaurant? So it changes the way in that interaction point comes in. You can think about these are very obviously service-oriented industries. So they have to be able to you go to a restaurant to have a great experience. But today, what most restaurant owners don't understand or are not realizing is that today more people, again, will interact with you digitally before they can actually come to your actual outlet. And that point, if you're not there or you're not being there, just remember they've gone to somebody else who actually was able to put this in. I've given you certain examples of education also, which is a big area because students, online education platforms are already using these kind of things. E-commerce, D2C, whether that be for items like jewelry, clothing, apparel. These are some amazing ones. And obviously, the big one is if you're into professional services as well. So if you're a consultant, you're an expert, you're a coach, those kind of tools, you can literally, as a coach, you're an individual or a one-man team. So it makes sense to have somebody there to set up your appointments and do that for you. The other one that we've obviously seen a lot of fascinating use cases are in consumer electronics or any kind of training-based systems, where you have tons of data in the form of, maybe like in the form of consumer electronics. Right now, we're working with a client which has probably over 20,000 electronic items that they sell through their website. And each item requires brochures, how to use guides. And typically customers are not just people who are obviously coming to buy the product recommended, also to be able to service those existing guys who are facing problems with their products. So having an AI based system that's been trained on their product portfolios, how to use guides, troubleshooting options, it can be so much more useful from there, as well as when they can't solve our problem, connected with the service centers. So that is a big area in where we're seeing some of these sectors and use cases emerge. So these, honestly, what I told you are things which are, with the platform that I've shown you today, it's actually easy to build. There are tons of things in terms of what is possible. And again, the best part is I showed you the steps with which you can actually set these up on your own and connect them and start using them for businesses that you're part of or maybe helping out with. For my next segment, I'm going to give you a little more glimpse into a higher level of the future, because obviously these kind of applications, I can assure you in the next 6 months or a year, right, will be the new normal. And slowly what we're seeing as a trend of consumer behavior change, right? Businesses or any kind of interaction will begin by just sending you a hi. I mean, literally by being able to message you a hi and be available to find out what you're looking for. But for my next section, I have somebody really special to come in and talk to, who we are very excited to share with, to give you more sort of insights into how it works in. So joining us today on the webinar is obviously our tech head, Mr. Rutuj, who's there. So Rutuj, I hope you're on. I hope I can see you, hear you. The next part really requires your insight and vision to going beyond what a segment that we're calling in, which is called Beyond Chat.
Yeah,
And you're quite excited to share that. And hi, Rutuj, how are you?
all good.
All good. Yeah, so I think as you saw, I covered the basics of what we do and how we've been working onto it. But firstly, for those of you who don't know, Rutuj has been with us for the last 5 years and headed product and customer success and also use case and application. And I think he's one of the best persons to talk about what I have in mind next in terms of what we build out, obviously, as a base product, right, which is good. But what I wanted you to tell people about was how we are now working with larger enterprises, right? In terms of how we're creating the new checkpoint. So just to give you an idea, Rutuj has been with Revelcom for the last 5 years. He was one of the first few people who joined us as an intern and now has grown his way into leading our tech team with the team. He leads a team across the different divisions and products, and everybody responds to him for all of the different products, from our Revelcom Builder to the AI Agent Builder platform to our disability platforms to our enterprise service wing, which deals with enterprise deployment. So he obviously knows his stuff. He's been working with the likes of Tata, TCS, and leading these projects for us and interacting with them. And is the person who's at the heart of it, solving out, getting new ideas and different ways in doing these things.
Yeah,
So, Rutuj, I obviously wanted to get people to understand about what you do right now, because obviously chat agents, what we're building out, we have partners today that have been doing it.
right.
But from your vision and what we've been working on, what's so exciting in terms of how we're going beyond chat and talking about this thing called the API layer. And what I was hoping to do is that maybe, because API is a very technical kind of word and most of us don't understand it, if you can just simplify for us to make it super easy to kind of go through, and we
Yeah,
can probably just understand what exactly these things are.
sure.
And also maybe through these examples that we can talk about.
Sure. So majorly what happens is now Akash has shown you guys on how exactly the AI agent interacts with the customers. But the real power which I see when it comes to AI agents is majorly when AI agent can talk to the systems from where your businesses are run. So maybe it's like your CRM system, your Shopify website, your e-commerce platforms, anything
Yeah.
which AI agents can basically connect with. That's where the real power of AI basically comes in, because now what happens is AI agent can pull in the live data instead of a static data. So when it comes to API integration to any of the third party integrations, what happens is API basically acts as a bridge between this AI layer as well as the systems that your businesses run upon. So it's like a very like non-technical term that I can use is a very basic bridge you can consider.
So long and short of it, basically, Rutuj, would be like today, you're saying that what we've also understood is that today, I think most businesses you go to today already have software. Like, aapne kuch kharida, you bought something, you
Exactly.
already have these tools and you have a processor in place. So you're saying basically these APIs are the things that will allow us to talk to one another.
Exactly.
Yeah. So my question to you is obviously that, in your experiences, I'm obviously going to take one case study through for you to talk about in terms of how this AI integration does. So like, obviously I was telling you the one which was Shopify.
Right.
Again, this would be an example of an API integration, right? Wherein it's able to talk to that existing software and do it. But can you maybe go into a little deeper exactly how this works? Like, and what
Sure.
more could this be doing?
Yeah. So what happens is maybe as soon as a customer wants to understand, let's say where's the order is, or maybe anything related to the inventory. Majorly, what happens is as soon as the AI agent is connected to the backend of the Shopify, what it can really do is the AI agent can go on the backend, check for let's say the order details. Let's say I am a user. I want to understand, let's say, where's my order. I can just give my order details. The AI agent will go on the backend and actually do stuff on the person's behalf. So that's where the real magic comes in, wherein the AI agent takes action on your behalf rather than just giving you a plain static answer. So maybe
Yeah.
what we can do is, I guess we have built a Shopify integration live on Instagram. It would be great if we can just showcase our audience on how exactly this works. Um, I can just provide you with, let's say, an order detail, and then we
Yeah.
can just live showcase you on how exactly this type of
So
system
do,
works.
do you do you want to do the screen share? Or do you want me to continue on to it?
I mean, you can just share the Neelam Steels one because
All
I have
right. All right.
integrated.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Of course. I can get that opened up. Uh, yeah, I think so. Sorry about that. Uh, there we go. So this is the Neelam Steel agent, if I'm not wrong. So quick context: this is one of the ones that went live recently for us, and it's actually been working quite well from the Neelam point of view. Also, for those of you who don't know what Neelam Steel are, they're one of the largest utensil manufacturers in India. And again, this is a site that it's live deployed on, where it's connected to the system. So Rutuj, you can guide me through what you want to demonstrate. I've given
Sure.
a little context. It's sort of like a website. It's an online store where you can buy the tiffins. They have tons of customers. So actually, almost, I think the store does crazy amount. I can't disclose the number here, but it does a lot of volumes in selling tiffins, in doing different things. And again, a big problem is it's shipping nationwide. And
Correct.
as Rutu highlighted, we have a big pain point where a lot of them come back for orders that. So yeah, Rutu, you can guide me on how do you want me to do this.
Yeah. So we have integrated this chat agent right there at the bottom right, wherein people can just interact with the agent as Akash showcased you. But a real point where we have like integrated the Shopify backend is where you can track the order. So maybe you can just add in the details. I guess I have just dropped you the order details over to you. Maybe you can just use those exact details, and what really happens is as soon as you give those details, the AI actually asks for, let's say, the email ID as well as the order details. So just for the security point of view, we have implemented these kind of like details, so that AI agent doesn't like give information to a wrong user. So that's the guardrails that we have created in terms of the security. But then as soon as you type in the order details as well as the email ID, what agent will do is on your behalf, it will just go on the backend, check for these particular details, let's say the email ID, the order details, and then fetch the details from the ShipRocket ID. So that's where the multiple systems are linked, interlinked via Shopify, and then the details are like basically quickly fetched on this chat interface, and it's basically not just this chat interface, but then also on Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, you can see the details that are fetched on the chat agent, and it's basically the live data. It's not a static data, so you can see the order tracking, the order status, and so on. So that's where the agent comes in handy when it's not just about a single order, but then if you consider a brand like Neelam, wherein thousands of orders are basically processed in a month, you can
Yeah.
understand the value and the ROI of the agent.
Yeah, I mean, it saves a lot. I mean, even as an experience point of view, the entire thing was even the feedback we got from initially testing and listening to the users was that it's just so much faster. And I think from the point of view that you can buy